All right, guys. So this video is to go with the phenomenon for the assignment asking questions. Okay. So we see right here, I have what's considered an optical illusion. Looks like there's a frog, but really when I move my finger there, there's no frog. And when I move the camera up over, you can see the frog's actually down inside the container here. Okay, but the phenomenon is that it appears to be sitting right there at the top, when in actuality it's not. Okay, so you'll use this phenomenon to answer the questions on the assignment for today on asking questions. All right, so let's go through the slides for this assignment here. So starting off, we saw our phenomenon of the frog that was actually an optical illusion. Okay, so what we would need to do is we need to describe that phenomenon in as much detail as possible. Okay, because today we're focusing on asking questions, it's important that we make as many observations as we can for those questions. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Then, if you're doing this assignment from home, I would encourage you to have a little bit of a discussion about this phenomenon and share it with a family member, and then discuss it and record your discussion on this in this box here. Okay? Then we're going to talk about what makes a good question. Okay? A good question is one that is specific and based on the phenomenon. Okay? And then to be a testable question means that it is a testable question is normally one that is simple and deals with a specific question, like I said before, on good. So it's going to be simple and specific. Okay? For example, a bad question or a question that is not testable is one in which your answer is going to be so big and so broad that though it might be on the right path of what we're talking about, it might not help you at this juncture. So, for example, with the frog illusion, a question that wouldn't be considered testable is how does our brain perceive vision in the first place? Okay, that's important for this, but it's a bit too broad and out of the topic of the phenomenon that we're looking for. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to come up with three different questions that you could ask about this phenomenon, and then consider, could I create, not me, but you want to ask yourself, could I create an experiment that could test this question? If you can, then you put a Y for yes. If you can't, then you put an N for no. We want to focus on these why, on these questions that you could design an experiment that could test, okay? And as your ability to think in this way grows, your ability to design experiments that would work for that will grow as well, okay? Then you need to come up with a hypothesis for each of these questions. Remember, a hypothesis is a educated answer to the question. So essentially you're answering your questions the best way you know how. Okay? And as you type in these boxes in the slides, if you need to type more than what this shows, those boxes will actually get bigger and bigger. And so that's why there's so much empty space down here to accommodate for that. The boxes will enlarge as you're typing. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email and ask me your questions, and I'll try and help you out.